Welcome back to Respoiled. Today, I have another captivating story to share with you. But before we dive in, if you're new here, I invite you to subscribe to my channel and turn on notifications, so you'll never miss out on all of my latest uploads. Now let's get started. In 1845, Mary Elnor was hanged from a tree on charges of witchcraft. Villagers affix a mask to her face before setting her ablaze, while a priest chants a spell holding up a doll. Hours later, her charred remains still hang from the tree. In present-day Massachusetts, disgraced journalist Jerry visits a farmer who alleges his cow has been marked by a cult. Upon inspection, Jerry finds the Metallica logo, suspecting the farmer's son. He hears an eerie whisper, leading him to a nearby tree where he discovers something glimmering in the sunlight. Jerry reaches into the tree and retrieves the burnt doll from the beginning, tagged with February 31, 1845. The farmer explains that field workers often bury dolls for good luck, but none like this. Seeing a chance for a spooky story, Jerry smashes the doll's head for effect, then snaps photos of the farmer discovering it. Later that night, Jerry, driving and drinking, narrowly avoids hitting Alice as he reaches for the bottle. His car crashes, but he emerges unharmed, spotting movement in the shadows. It's Alice, whom Jerry follows through the woods until they reach the earlier tree. Alice falls to her knees before the trees, repeating, "I pledge my soul to you," until Jerry touches her shoulder, causing her to faint. Jerry takes her back to town, discovering she lives with her uncle, Father Hagen, her sole living relative. Hagen calls Dr. Natalie, who confirms Alice's well-being and reveals she's deaf-mute. Jerry wonders why he heard her talk, and Natalie attributes it to his drinking. While his car is repaired, Jerry stays in a local motel. He attends church and listens to Hagen's sermon, observing Alice staring at a statue of Mary. She hears a female voice calling her name and suddenly rises to walk out of the building as if in a trance. Soon, other young girls follow her in a perfect line. Everyone else also follows, and Jerry has his camera ready to record while Alice stares at the tree, where she sees an apparition of Mary. After standing there for a few seconds, she surprises everyone by speaking, saying she has heard the voice of Mary herself, who is requesting through Alice that everyone return to the tree the next day. Later, Natalie conducts tests on Alice, who is excited to learn she can now hear as well. That night, Jerry has a nightmare about a red sky overtaking the town, the doll breaking, and a ghostly woman emerging from the now red creek. He wakes up when a drop of water falls on his face, and he looks up to see the ceiling covered in mold. The next day, all the locals return to the tree, and once again Jerry records everything. Hagen tries to keep Alice home, but she comes out anyway and approaches the tree, where she sees the apparition of Mary again. Then she goes to a paraplegic boy and tells him to have faith in Mary because she commands him to walk. To everyone's shock, the boy suddenly stands up and is able to use his legs. Jerry ensures to record this as everyone falls to their knees to pray. Inside the church, the statue of the Virgin starts crying blood, and soon the miracle appears on the news, going viral. Bishop Giles and Monsignor Delgardi, dispatched by the Vatican, investigate whether Alice truly performed a miracle or if it's a hoax. They conduct a press conference, citing the only 3 authenticated modern miracles by Mary, which have led to the creation of 3 shrines drawing millions of visitors annually. To confirm a miracle's authenticity, 3 criteria must be met. The illness must be incurable, the cure must be instantaneous, and the recovery must be complete. Alice joins the conference, facing a barrage of rude or nonsensical questions from reporters, leaving her overwhelmed. Jerry adopts a softer approach, asking questions that enable Alice to articulate her faith, and she responds only to him. Meanwhile, the priests assess whether the criteria are fulfilled. A shelter is erected over the tree to shield it from the elements, in preparation for it potentially becoming a shrine. Upon closer inspection, Hagen uncovers the buried doll, prompting a frightening apparition to materialize nearby. As the creature prepares to strike, additional individuals arrive, causing the ghostly figure to vanish. Hagen returns indoors and interrupts Jerry's interview with Alice. Despite his lung disease causing severe coughing, he disregards it and lights a cigarette, chastising Jerry for exploiting Alice for fame. Hagen, cautious, fears this attention will attract negativity to Alice, noting that beside every shrine, the devil erects a chapel. He recalls the fate of those who claim to have seen Mary, ostracized, sent to convents, or dead within months, and he wishes to shield Alice from such consequences. That night at the motel, Jerry hears unsettling whispers behind him. Although he finds nothing in the corridor, upon turning, he encounters a hooded figure. The following day, while Alice practices singing with Hagen, Jerry and Delgardi observe. Suddenly, Hagen is seized by violent coughing and collapses. As Jerry summons an ambulance, Alice urges Hagen to devote himself to Mary, then places her hand on his chest, halting his coughing and restoring his ability to breathe normally. Yet, he's startled to glimpse a shadowy figure behind Alice, reaching toward him. They proceed to the hospital where Natalie presents 2 X-rays, one recent, the other from days prior. Remarkably, his illness has vanished without explanation. Natalie also reports the former paraplegic boy's miraculous recovery. With no alternative, Delgardi and Giles affirm this is a genuine miracle, prompting the tree's transformation into a shrine. Alice's fame surges once more, and the town experiences a surge in tourism nationwide. Alice earns widespread admiration, gaining fans who dub her their hero and even speculate she'll surpass Taylor Swift in fame, evidenced by her dedicated Wikipedia page. Despite her acclaim, skeptics dismiss her achievements as mere illusions, prompting some to flee the town, viewing her presence as an omen of impending tragedy when divine figures manifest on Earth. The overwhelming media attention compels Hagen to relocate Alice to a diocese in Boston for her protection. Later, while smoking in the church, Hagen notices Smoke behaving strangely and investigates, uncovering a hidden compartment containing a notebook detailing a ritual to seal the devil using a mask and a doll. In the darkness, a lurking presence observes him. Meanwhile, Jerry dines with Natalie and recounts his encounter with the doll, prompting her to explain its purpose. These dolls are crafted to ensnare malevolent entities, employing the fictitious date of February 31st to confine them indefinitely. Later, during a stroll, Jerry is astonished to stumble upon the creek from his nightmare. Natalie reveals the church's historical influence over the town, leading Jerry to deduce the era as 1845, much to her surprise. While investigating the creek, Jerry witnesses the spectral figure from his dreams emerging from the water. Startled, he almost mistakes Natalie for the apparition. Jerry, feeling suspicious, determines they should speak with Hagen. Meanwhile, Hagen, inside the church, hears the clinking of chains and observes someone entering the confessional. Upon entering himself and commencing the confession, he hears a woman's voice discussing routine matters before taking a sinister turn, claiming responsibility for ruining lives and asserting her arrival for him. As she asserts her connection to Satan and her role in Hagen's healing, the lights flicker ominously. The woman elaborates on her past deeds, instilling fear in Hagen, who exits the confessional. He then witnesses the organ playing unaided before encountering a dark, hooded figure with a noose around her neck in the church. Hagen attempts to flee, but the ghost impedes his escape and attacks. Upon Jerry's arrival, he investigates a sound in the confessional, finding it empty, only to discover Hagen's lifeless body hanging behind him. After paramedics remove Hagen, Giles urges Jerry to conceal the truth of Hagen's demise to preserve trust in the local church. However, Jerry harbors doubts regarding the nature of Hagen's death. The following day, Jerry discusses Hagen's concerns about the encroaching evil with Alice, who expresses confidence in Mary's protection. Returning to the motel that evening, Jerry witnesses flickering lights and hears whispers, spotting the ghost briefly before its disappearance. Reviewing his interview footage later, he notices a strange blur near Alice. While reviewing the recording, Jerry is astonished to witness the ghost moving on the paused video before vanishing. As he leans in, the ghost startles him by momentarily reappearing. At Hagen's funeral the next day, Jerry discusses his suspicions with Natalie, who shares his disbelief in Hagen's self-deletion. They venture into the church's basement and uncover Hagen's hidden notebook, detailing the tale of Mary Elnor. Known for healing and claiming to convey messages from the Virgin Mary, those who doubted her met untimely deaths. In 1845, the townsfolk submerged Mary in the creek until she confessed to serving Satan. They then burned her with a mask of the Virgin, trapping her ashes and soul in the doll Jerry had broken. Following Mary's demise, her healed patients fell ill again. Jerry deduces that the entity communicating with Alice is Mary Elnor, not the Virgin Mary, and realizes the ghost killed Hagen upon discovering the truth in the notebook. Simultaneously, Alice disrupts the mass to announce that Mary desires a gathering at the shrine tonight for a special service in honor of her uncle. Meanwhile, Jerry notices a sheet moving and uncovers an old Jesus statue beneath it. Suddenly, another sheet falls, revealing the ghost, which attempts to attack them. Amidst the chaos, a light bulb shatters, prompting the duo to flee just in time. Eager to warn Alice, they find she's being escorted away by Delgardi to evade the bustling crowd. Jerry and Natalie journey to Boston, where Natalie searches for Alice at the convent while Jerry confronts Giles and Delgardi with the truth revealed in the notebook. Although Giles was aware of the contents, Delgardi was not, yet Giles dismisses his concerns, insisting that a diary from centuries ago lacks substantial evidence. The nuns refuse Natalie's request to see Alice, but Jerry seizes the opportunity to explore the diocese's archives. He uncovers information indicating that before her demise, Mary had a child and struck a pact with the devil to ensure her lineage endured, implying that Alice shares her bloodline. Suddenly, his phone loses signal, and the files containing Mary's confession disintegrate, while a statue of the Virgin Mary begins to deteriorate, revealing the ghost. Jerry attempts to barricade her path with a table, but the ghost effortlessly moves it aside and materializes in front of him. Just then, Delgarty arrives and initiates an exorcism, prompting the ghost to erase the text from his Bible. Despite this, Delgarty persists with a crucifix until the ghost vanishes. Recognizing the severity of the situation, Delgarty agrees to collaborate with Jerry to thwart the impending service before Alice ensnares everyone's souls. In the evening, numerous merchandise stalls are set up near the shrine to profit from Alice's miracles. A large crowd gathers at the shrine, with even more fans watching the service online. Inside the church, Jerry and Natalie observe as Delgarty initiates a ritual with the doll to re-imprison the ghost. However, each time he tries to light a match, the ghost extinguishes it. Suddenly, a massive flame erupts and engulfs the cross on the wall, causing it to collapse and fatally injure Delgarty. His body catches fire, and statues in the vicinity begin to shed tears of blood. Meanwhile, in the shrine, Alice's demeanor changes as she prepares to claim everyone's souls. Just then, Jerry and Natalie enter, and in a desperate bid to halt Alice's plan, Jerry confesses that he fabricated all the miracles. Natalie communicates with Alice using sign language, revealing that Mary is a demon, not a saint. Meanwhile, Jerry concocts a tale about fabricating the miracles, also disclosing Hagen's self-deletion and Giles' request for secrecy. Learning that Mary killed Hagen, Alice begins to doubt, just as the crowd protests Jerry's revelations. Mary warns Alice to proceed with the service or face silence forever. Realizing the manipulation, Alice denounces Mary's existence to the crowd, who responds with insults. Suddenly, the tree and its adornments ignite, causing panic and chaos. The healed boy loses his ability to walk, requiring Natalie's intervention. Amidst spreading flames, the ghost emerges from the tree, exacerbating the fire. The ghost reveals her burned face after removing her mask, touching Giles to burn him instantly. Jerry and Alice attempt to flee, but the ghost impedes their escape, burning Jerry's hand and then his leg. As the ghost prepares to deliver a fatal blow, Alice intervenes and absorbs the attack, sacrificing herself. With Alice's demise, the ghost, unable to continue through her bloodline, fades away with a scream. Jerry, grieving, prays for mercy, prompting Alice's resurrection. Later, at Hagen's grave, Jerry, Natalie, and Alice pay their respects. With Alice rendered unable to speak, Jerry begins learning sign language to communicate with her. Inside the church, the statue of Virgin Mary once again sheds tears of blood. Don't forget to like, subscribe and enable notifications for more content like this. Thank you for watching.